So today we're just going to do a very informal, for posterity, home theater tour. So one of my neighbors and friends that works at DR Horton was asking for suggestions on what to do with the floor plan flex room on the Camden. And I have some other videos that I did, maybe shorts on the channel, where we turned this room when we first moved in into a home gym. We did light mirrors and a PRX and Rogue weight system. It was pretty cool, but my fitness goals have kind of changed. I've found myself using the treadmill more than anything, and I started watching Youth Man, Obsessed Home Theater YouTube channel, and have gotten back into the hobby after being out of it for about 20 years, maybe 30 years now. I was into home theater back when the first 34-inch flat screen tube television came out, and I was all excited about that. It was a Sony Wega, and I had Now Hear This speakers and like a Sony AVR of back in the day. But there are big plans for this room, but everyone, even big time real estate agents, has a budget. So this is going to be a journey, but I wanted to show you some of the things that we did right away, because it didn't break the bank. But man, if you go down the rabbit hole, you can overspend. But anyways, this video is more to document my journey and to also share with my neighbor friend who also works at DR Horton, to give her some ideas that she can share with some people about what they can do with their Camden floor plan in the flex room. So here we go. There's my treadmill, which I wanted to show this because here I have some Valencia home theater seats, and in row 2, if you weren't into fitness at all, you would have plenty of room for a riser and put a second row of chairs in here. And then you could easily have, 3 chairs in the front and then 3 chairs in the second row. So you could have 6 people in a true home theater here. I'm still just at the beginning stages of this journey, so I do have what has been my go-to for years now. I got all into the Sonos ecosystem and probably have about 20 of the Sonos speakers throughout the property, and we've loved that. But for a true home theater with true Dolby Atmos, it's going to be a journey to replace all this stuff with some different speakers. But for my personal needs, I'm enjoying using the treadmill. So my next step will probably be some JTR 212 RT speakers that will go on either side of my 82-inch television. And I could go down a rabbit hole and explain everything that the plan is, but I think maybe for the majority of you watching this right now, you're probably going to want to know, what's the paint color you chose? And I went with a Sherwin-Williams Tricorn Black. If you need to know more information, leave a comment down below and I can spell it out for you and give you the code number for that. However, I did have the garage, we painted the garage ceiling with a Behr product, and it was left over, so I did the door in that color. It was called Limousine Leather. And as you can tell, when the light's on, you can't see any of this touch-up stuff, but I used the Tricorn Black to touch up a couple of spots on this door that was already painted in limousine leather. And yes, the limousine leather is a deeper black than the Tricorn. I do have this studio light turned on right now, and I do have some lights behind the TV that were originally part of a Philips Hue sync system, which is kind of a novelty and not really great for a true home theater purist viewing experience. But that's besides the point. Right now, it just kind of helps me see what I'm doing when that studio light is not in here. But in order to give you guys the full tour, it has to be on. So what I did here, I got these panels off of Amazon, and they do have a peel and stick back on them. I just chose to use a couple of drywall screws because this is actually covering a window And I did leave a gap at the top right there because this window is south facing, and I didn't want to deal with any potential condensation and then therefore some potential mold issues in here. So that is really just to block out the light. It's not really going to do my neighbors any favors running this JTR subwoofer here in the near field behind the chairs. They're still going to hear it, but it's mostly just to control the light in here. I do have plans to do some more sound treatment in here, but anyways, back to the colors. I did the trim and everything in Tricorn Black. And the floor. This was the floor that we had originally had for the gym. It's a 3/4 inch rubber floor that's rolled. There's about 3 different roll strips in here. You can see the seam right here. And not only did it serve a purpose for the color that I was going for in this room, to just have everything blacked out in here, but it actually, I forgot, it's a very minuscule amount of sound absorption properties that it does have some benefit, and mostly that benefit will be to my neighbors when the subwoofer's going off and it's rocking the house in here. Yes, we got a long ways to go on room treatments. You can hear a lot of the flutter echo in here, but I went with some black receptacles. And then also off of Amazon, we got a black AC vent that we were able to purchase as well. I'm gonna shut this light off in here so you can kind of, hopefully on camera, see. It's an interesting little effect because if you've ever been up north and seen the Aurora Borealis, it turns up better on a cell phone, especially a Samsung. Alexa, turn the lights off in the theater. So it gets pretty dark in here. Now with everything blacked out, the TV just kind of pops and it's not as distracting. I do have on order. Alexa, turn the theater on. Okay, so I do have some on order, some door bottoms that has a piston that goes and activates the sweep. When the door closes, it drops down. So that'll control the light and the sound even more. Somewhere down the line, maybe we'll do some solid core doors, but for now, it's controlled pretty well in here. Anyways, this was kind of a longer video of the stages that we're currently at, but it's hopefully inspiring you for what is possible and do it even better than me in your Camden flex room, your DR Horton Camden flex room. Yeah, the Camden floor plan flex room. If you guys got any questions, I'm going to probably try and check in and update things as we get the next piece of the home theater upgraded. I already have a 3rd chair on order because that was my biggest regret. As soon as these 2 chairs arrived and we tried to have a couple of people over, my wife didn't even want to hang out because she's like, I'm not sitting on that folding chair. But for 99% of the time, that's me. But if you're a guest over here, you get to sit there and I'll sit on the folding chair. But I'm imagining that the 3rd chair will be here in a few weeks, and I don't know. We'll see what happens after that. Yeah, all right, you guys. Let me know if you want to see more of this stuff, or if you're like, Sean, that one-off was enough. Just stick to the condo tours, man. All right, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next video.